Yes lads, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a 5-season experiment in the Premier League with Sunderland. But if you don't know the story of how Sunderland got to the Premier League in the most recent season, let's have a little recap. In the Championship season of 2024-25, Sunderland finished 4th in the league, amassing an incredible 21 wins and 76 points. Finishing 4th in the league did qualify them for the league playoffs. In the first playoff game in the semi-final, they played Coventry over 2 legs, where they were 3-2 victors in a very, very close semi-final. After beating Coventry in the semi-final, they then had Sheffield United in the final to await them on the day. They were 2-1 victors on the day, a game that was very back and forth, but it was the heroics of Tom Watson in the 95th minute coming on as a substitute to send Sunderland into the Premier League in the richest game in football. Now we know how Sunderland got to the Premier League. Let's take them from a team that is seen as they need to bravely fight against relegation to a very good, if not a team qualifying for Europe every season. Let's get into this 5-season experiment. So lads, welcome to Sunderland Season 1. Now before we get into the Football Manager, I just want to show you the list of arrivals that you're going to see at the team that Sunderland have signed over this transfer window. The updated database today that I am using is updated as of the day of August 20th, so any transfers that happen after August 20th, depending on when you watch this video, it might look a little bit different. But as you can see, Sunderland have brought in so many new players for their Premier League return. You've got Habib Diarra, Adingra, Enzo Lafite, Talbot, Sadiq, Granit Xhaka, probably the most notable signing from Leverkusen, Nordi Mukiele, Alderte, Roofs in net, Reynaldo at the back from Atletico Madrid, Masuaku and Mark Guiu on loan from Chelsea. So a lot of this first season team that you see are a lot of the players that Sunderland did bring in the first season. I want to try and keep it a little bit realistic in this first season and see what I can do with this group of players. That is why on the game in Season 1, the only transfer I have made is Yoann Bonney up front. Mark Guiu on loan from Chelsea isn't too great on Football Manager, so I thought I'll bring in Yoann Bonney. He's a striker that I think suits a team that are trying to stay in the Premier League. A tall striker with decent pace. He's going to be leading the line for me this season. In terms of the tactic for this season, boys, we are going with a Sunderland survive. We're going to be playing a 4-4-2, but what we're doing, we're going to drop them DMs a little bit deeper just for that extra defensive cover. We're going to have them wingers on support and attack to let them get on forward and try and get balls in the box for the number 10 and Bonney up front to knock in into the goal. We've got Granit Xhaka and Diarra locked in this season. Granit Xhaka, of course, being the best player in this Sunderland team. If I also click on Diarra, he's actually quite a good player on the game, got a lot of good stats in good places, a very well-rounded centre mid, so we're going to be locking him in for his development. But this is Season 1 with Sunderland, lads. You know these teams now with the Premier League and the Championship. The teams that come up from the Championship struggle heavily to stay in the Premier League. Our only goal this season is Premier League survival. Let's see what we can do in Season 1. Right boys, Season 1 is simulated. Let's see how this Sunderland team with all the new arrivals in the summer have got on. Now, as I show you this screen, we are not in the top 15 of the Premier League. We're knocked out in the FA Cup 4th round by Chelsea. Again, I mean, you're playing Chelsea. It's going to be expected this early into this experiment. And we were also knocked out in the 4th round of the Carabao Cup by Coventry, which is a bit of a disappointing result. If we look on the face of it in the Premier Division, our top goal scorer was Yoann Bonney with 9 goals. Our top assister being Enzo Lafite with 7 goals. And if we scroll down the table, we're not 16th, we're 17th by the skin of our teeth. We stay in the Premier League after Season 1. Now, if we click into the Premier League, as you can see, we finished 17th. We picked up 10 wins this season and 37 points. I think in real life, Sunderland fans would take any position outside of that bottom 3. So 17th, I actually think, is a successful season. You can see going down this season was Everton, Fulham and Wolves. So Leeds actually stay up and Burnley actually stay up. Burnley actually got 8th this season in the simulation, which is just crazy. They've had an amazing season, picking up 16 wins. But there was not much to shout about this season, boys. 17th in the league, but we survive. If we look at the stats for the league, we're not in the most goals. We're not in the fewest conceded. We've just had a bang average season, but we've done what we needed to do. If we look squad-wise, Yoann Bonney was our top scorer with 12 goals. Enzo Lafite having quite a decent season, really, considering where we finished with 9 goals and 9 assists. Adingra didn't do too bad. Granit Xhaka got a 6.7 rating in midfield, which maybe I expect a little bit more from someone with his quality. But look, like I said, the only objective for this season was to avoid relegation, which we have. And now this sets us up for a season 2 where we can make our own transfers, have our own Robbo impact on this team with £55 million in the transfer budget. It's clear to see that even though Sunderland spent a lot of money in the Premier League this season, bringing in a lot of new arrivals, there is still a lot of quality missing from the team. We need to bring in quality in the important positions to make sure that we don't get relegated next season. Let's go have a big season 2 summer transfer window. Season 2's transfers could not have worked out better. A man appeared on my interested list who is a Sunderland legend after only having 1 year there on loan. He has said on Instagram stories and on Twitter that one day he hopes to return to Sunderland. The man, the myth, the legend. Amad Diallo is back at Sunderland. Just give him a round of applause. Just look at this man. I went onto my transfer list. He wasn't happy at Man United. He weren't getting played, and I picked him up for £16.5 million. Look at that last season, playing him 2 times. You can see the Sunderland loan there in the Championship where he got 13 goals for them. This man loves Sunderland, and this man will take us to great things. Now, another signing we brought in was Lucas Ocampos, the 32-year-old experienced winger, but he's actually going to play striker for me this season. What I wanted to do in this rebuild, with it being so late into Football Manager and with all the update stuff that I downloaded, is try and use new players that I might not have used before, and see what they're about. And when Lucas Ocampos came up, he plays every single position from the wing to number 10 to striker. He looks amazing. He's 6'2". He's 32 years old, so we might only get one good season out of him. And we picked him up for $9 million from Mexico after having a decent season with Monterrey. I said at the end of season 1 as well, we need to identify them key positions and we need to improve them. So we've brought in Amir Siaipe from Lugano for £2.5 million. A keeper with good aerial reach, good reflexes. He's 6'4". He's not the greatest keeper, but he is consistent. Hopefully he's going to be better than our previous number 1 last season. We also managed to bring in Mohamed Simakan on a free transfer this season. He's probably the best player at the club now, value-wise. A man who can play at centre-back and right-back. He's a bit of a fan favourite on FM at 24. I've signed this guy numerous times. I'm hoping he's going to be good at the back for us this season on a free transfer. Even if we sell him on next season, we're looking at £30-40 million for this man. A few loan deals we managed to get in as well. Joel Hatto, who has just moved to Chelsea. We all know Chelsea in real life have signed about 6 million Bazongas players. So some good players are going to be up for loan. I think Joel Hatto in real life, a loan to Sunderland, could actually be great as well. He's a man who can play centre-back and left-back, 6'2", great physicals. Hopefully he's going to be good for us this season. We also managed to bring in Buonanotte on loan this season, the man from Brighton, very talented attacking midfielder. He's going to play number 10 this year for us. Hopefully create a lot of chances alongside Enzo Laffi. And finally, I wanted to try and keep this rebuild as realistic as possible. For some reason, Milos Kerkez at Liverpool, of course this is an updated database where he transfers over, he literally didn't play a single game for them. They literally didn't give him 1 start in any competition in the league, nothing. I saw that he was listed and I thought, you know what, if Milos Kerkez in real life didn't play a single game for Liverpool, he would pretty much force himself out of the club, wouldn't he? So I thought, let's bring him in. He's going to be our new left back. Very, very exciting left back. I'm gutted in real life he's gone to Liverpool. I'd have loved to see him at United in that like wing back role that we have. But yeah, Milos Kerkez comes in, great fullback, great for Bournemouth. Let's see what he can do for Sunderland. Probably going to be our left back for the next 4 years. And tactically this season, we are keeping it the exact same with the tactic. I think this tactic could actually do quite well. I think we just needed better personnel. Amad is going to be locked in on that right winger. Campos is going to be playing up front. But something I did see before I started simulating is that we had Tottenham, Liverpool, Man United and Chelsea in our first 5 games. So morale manager's cooked. I'll see you in the Championship. Big Robbo is back in the game. 11th in the Premier League. Only 3 points, literally 3 points of getting Europe this season, which is mental. We also managed to have 2 insane cup runs. In the FA Cup, we got to the quarter-final and the Carabao Cup, the semi-final. We played pretty much every game we were allowed to play this season and still managed to do pretty well in the Premier League. You would expect with 2 cup runs like that to kind of have a worse Premier League result with Sunderland in season 2, but I think we've done really well across all fronts. The quarter-final against Arsenal as well, we actually took them to extra time and lost 2-1. And if you look at the other teams that were left in the FA Cup, if we would have won that game, we might have had a good chance of going on to win it. And in the Carabao Cup semi-final, Liverpool did beat us 4-3 on aggregate, and we would have had West Ham in the final. So again, if we would have managed to maybe even avoid Liverpool, we could have easily got to a final this season. If we would have played West Ham or Grimsby, the score could have been different. But what I'm very proud of, boys, is how well we have done in the Premier League this season. 51 points, 14 wins, and 11th in the table. What's interesting to see, again, again is that Burnley and Leeds, who we actually come up with in the first season, did not go down again. So the 3 teams that come up from the Championship are surviving. Palace, Derby and Sheffield United go down this year. But we've had an amazing season, and what's interesting to see as well with this updated database is that Haaland, Gyökeres and Isak in the second season, the 3 strikers in the Premier League right now that you'd say are the most reputable and notable, are actually the top goal scorers on here. I can't actually see any of our players in them stats yet, but look, doesn't matter, we come 11th in the Premier League. This season as well, the only stat that we managed to get into was the most tackles won, so clearly our team are fighting for that ball. 1,043 tackles, we'll be proud of that stat. If we look at the squad this season, Buonanotte on loan was definitely the star player, the only guy with an average rating above 7. He got 14 goals and 7 assists for us. Campos up front got 14 goals for us, which I think for 9 million is very good. Adingra, Ediso and Amad Diallo had a very good season as well. Amad first season getting 12 assists. But this season, there weren't really many players who had a standout season, but there was a lot of players who just had a better season. Xhaka getting a better higher average rating, for example. Kirkes getting a decent average rating. Diarra a decent average rating. There was just a lot of consistent players in the team this season. It's good to see Chris Rigg as well down here, getting 7 appearances off the bench, of course. One of the biggest talents for Sunderland in real life. We keep trying to loan him out and keep trying to get him that first team football, so hopefully by the end of the rebuild he can be part of the first team. But at the end of season 2, after finish 11th in the Premier League, we've got £61 million to spend. We really need to kick on now and make this team a guaranteed mid-table team every season. We can't have this as a fluke season. Let's see what we can do with season 3's transfers. Well, the first signing of season 3 is a bit of a forgotten English wonderkid. It was Charlie Patino for £6.5 million. This man is actually such a good player on FM24. Passing, technique, vision. In my opinion, he is a great deep line playmaker. He's got the traits as well, comes deep to get the ball and dictates tempo. This guy is going to get on the ball from the defenders and make things happen. And for £6.5 million, I don't think this transfer can go wrong. Next signing was a bit of a gamble. A man that I have never used before on Football Manager, Miron van Brederode. He's a Dutch lad, shout out Tidges. He comes in to be a number 10 this season. Great dribbler of the ball, great technique. He's going to be a man who makes things happen, gets on the ball, a bit of flair. I'm hoping he's going to be someone that creates and scores a lot of goals for us, but he did cost us a hefty £28 million from AZ Alkmaar, so one of our biggest transfers of the summer. A centre-back coming in is Jan Carlo Simic for £14 million. This guy just looks very well-rounded across all stats needed for a centre-back. Decent height, decent pace, just kind of good everywhere, lots of 14s, 15s. This guy's only 22 years old as well, so he might develop a little bit. Very happy with his signing. Now here's a transfer I wouldn't normally make. Sebastian Coates, a 36-year-old centre-back with 8 pace. But what I thought is, every team like Sunderland needs that defender with experience, and Coates comes in with that experience. 20 leadership, 18 positioning, 18 marking, but also a great threat from the set pieces. He's 6'5" with 17 heading, 18 bravery and 17 jumping reach. This man is going to be someone who is going to be a brute for us at the back. Interestingly enough as well, before he's moved to Sporting, he actually spent 2 years on loan at Sunderland before moving there permanently. So Sunderland really gave him that leverage, that stepping stone onto Sporting Lisbon, where he's obviously had a great career. And the final signing, boys, a keeper that I haven't used much on this game is Nicholas Hedl, sorry, I don't know how you pronounce his name, but if you actually look at his goalkeeping technical stats, they are absolutely outrageous, alongside 16 positioning, high determination, good jumping reach and strength whilst being 6'2". And he only cost us $5 million on a release clause, and I thought, listen, Saipi last season was good in net, but this guy's too much of an upgrade to turn down. We bring him in. We have brought back the Ruben Robbo, and a little surprise transfer that some of you eagle-eyed viewers might have spotted. Benjamin Sesko is also up front for the Mackhams this season. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe what Big Robbo can do. Only Big Robbo can pull one of the best under-21 strikers in the world into Sunderland. Again, it was an Amad Diallo situation. Brought in by Man United, not played by Man United. Sunderland went, you know what, lad? We'll give you a chance. We'll let you ignite your career again in the Premier League. Sesko, we know what he's about. 6'4", quick, good in the air, technical, my striker. And this season now, we are looking at a team like this that is getting locked in for the simulation. Amad Diallo and Barode at number 10 with Sesko up front. This season's going to go off. I've got very high expectations. Now we are midway through the video. I'm going to show you the quick pick best 11. What I would actually change. Coates would go in there. Ballard would go in there. Barode would go into right cam. Amad would go there. This would be kind of the team that I'm looking at, maybe Patino in there with Xhaka. This is why I expect the assistant to line up, also, with Kirkes. So if you think of the season 1 team we had compared to season 3, look at what we've managed to build in that small time. Sunderland are going to Europe, baby. Sunderland are going on a Europe tour. And I mean, listen, when the Ruben Robbo comes out to play and you get a squad of players that can play this system, it produces magic. 59 points in the Premier League, 17 wins. Sunderland are in the Europa League. If we click on to the Premier Division season, what a season for Sunderland. And now we are starting to see the Sunderland boys make a name for themselves in the Premier League. And the biggest one that made a name this season was Benjamin Sesko. Look at him, second top scorer in the league, only behind Robbo up front, who got 41. 23 league goals for Benjamin Sesko. This was a man that Man United played twice over 2 seasons. Let it be your mistake and let it be Sunderland's redemption. Put that in a rap song. But as well, if we look on the right-hand side, Charlie Patino, 18 assists in the Premier League. Let me remind you, when I saw this man, I saw the talent for that DLP in the Robbo. £6.5 million, 4 goals and 18 assists in the Premier League. It is just business. Beautiful business from Robbo. It's an absolutely amazing season. Look, 17 wins. If we look at some of the wins as well there's some big clubs in there beating United at home 2-0, going to Liverpool and winning 6-3, scoring 7 goals against Brighton at home and winning 7-3, 6 goals against Everton. We're a goal-scoring machine now. It's the Ruben Robbo, baby. Back into the video, though, and the absolute miracle season that Robbo's produced. If we click onto the stats this season, we are second in the most goals in the Premier League, scoring 90 goals. Exciting to watch. We've also had the second most shots in the Premier League this season, so look, when teams play us, they know they are going to be under an onslaught. In the cup competitions, though, unfortunately, we did get knocked out by Newcastle, who are our fiercest and most direct rivals. That's awkward. Carabao Cup second rounded by Everton. Look, but listen, if I could tell Sunderland fans in the 25-26 season in 2 years you're going to go on a Europe tour, they would bite both my hands off and they'd probably bite something else off and give me a bit on top. So we've done amazing. If we look at the squad stats for this season, it's looking a lot better. Sesko with 24 goals and 6 assists. Unbelievable from him. Coates at the back, the 37-year-old getting 16 goals. Breda Road, the new signing, we took a bit of a gamble on, 26 contributions. Ahmad with 19 contributions. Charlie Patino, of course, with the 19 assists is insane. And we're finally seeing a lot more plays with that green average rating, showing that consistency across the season. Chris Rigg, again, playing 16 times off the bench this season, which is great to see the young lad getting involved in the first team. Amad Diallo having great development as well, someone we brought in, someone who said he would return to Sunderland. He is here and he's playing fantastic. In season 4, lads, for our European tour, £55 million again has been made available. We have got to bolster and bulk this squad up ready for the European games that are either going to hinder us in the Premier League and make us suffer, or can we go and have a great Europa League campaign and maybe even win it? Let's see what we can do in Season 4's transfers. A little bit like Season 3, the first place we're going to start is on the departures. Now, Simic left us on a release clause of £26 million. I think this guy had a great season last season. If you look top right, he played 35 times for us. I didn't want him to leave. Unfortunately, he did have a release clause, and because of the interest shown in him, he didn't want to sign a new contract, even though I don't know why he'd want to leave Sunderland after getting Europe, but hey, that's the AI's fault. I can't really, it's not my fault. 26 million he leaves for, so we have to replace him. And I think we have replaced him absolutely unbelievably. Nikola Milenkovic comes in at the back. Again, another 6'5" lad, a bit of a Coates regen in a way. Someone who shares kind of a similar profile. Coates is like 38 now, so he's actually going to slot in that middle centre-back now instead of Coates, and Ballard's going to move out to that right. Milenkovic, we all know Milenkovic, Nottingham Forest in the Premier League this season just gone, had one of the best defence in the league, and he was a big part of it. Just a guy who would block everything, win everything in the air. I'm going to hope he does it for us too in Season 4 of this rebuild. Next signing we brought in was Hugo Saleto, but what I have done with this guy is I have taken somebody who plays in one position and I'm going to train him in another one. Now, one of the biggest roles in the Robbo, boys, if we just look to the left side here in the positions, is this right midfielder defensive winger role. Now, if we actually highlight the defensive winger attributes that FM think are important, this guy's brilliant. He's a good tackler. He's got decent work rate. He can pass the ball with 16 passing and 16 vision. He can cross and dribble. He's got decent pace, not great. His stamina's decent. This guy is actually quite good for that right mid role, and he's the best that I could find, Hugo Saleto. So he comes in over from Celta Vigo to play defensive winger for us this season. He comes in for £19 million. Look, again, it's a bit of a gamble. I don't know exactly how he's going to play in that defensive winger role, but he's 24 years old. I'm hoping he plays well for us. And the final signing, boys, which I thought is too good to pass up on, was Carlos Baleba. Now, this guy in real life is heavily linked with Manchester United. This is a guy in the Premier League who just looks like another Caicedo, another Kante prototype. So good on the ball, so good at driving the ball forward as well, but actually very underrated, I think, in receiving the ball on the the turn and getting the team forward. He comes into the Sunderland side. He doesn't look amazing right now, but his potential ability apparently still got a bit of room to grow, so hopefully over these 2 years we'll see him turn into an absolute beast defensive midfielder. But that is it for the signings, boys. Again, we're not going to change too much. The only thing we're going to do this season is lock in Sotelo and Baleba alongside the other boys who were locked in last season. I need to make sure Sotelo plays on that right wing, and I want to make sure Baleba's development is as good as possible. If I was to pick my best 11, boys, this is what the team would look like in season 4. The new back three would be Mukiele on that right, Milenkovic covering in the middle, winning everything in the air against the strikers, and Ballard, who, shout out Ballard, has been here since season 1, and he is an absolute stellar Premier League centre-back. Like, you wouldn't expect it from someone that was actually in Sunderland's championship team, but he's actually very good on the game. I mean, look at the amount of pros that he has. He's a great player for this team, and he's been great across all the seasons. Right, boys, welcome back to season 4, and it is heartbreak in the Europa League. We'll start off there, finishing in the round of 16 to be knocked out by Manchester United. We got beat 4-2 over the 2 legs, and I think we've just been given a really difficult draw there. I mean, out of every team I'm looking at there, is there a tougher game than Man United at that point? I don't think there is. If we look at the final of the Europa League, it was actually won by Man United as well, so we were knocked out by the competition winners in the round of 16. It's a harsh draw, but hey, look, we got to compete in the Europa League. In the league phase, we actually managed to finish 10th. We had 5 wins, like we had Sporting away, which would have been a great night for the Sunderland fans, winning 4-0. We had Frankfurt at home, going away to Maccabi. But yeah, the Europa League, it just wasn't meant to be. And then in the Premier League this season, to be fair, considering all the competitions we have, finishing 9th is not something to be disappointed with. We actually only finished maybe on goal difference. Unless Tottenham won a competition, we only finished on goal difference outside of qualifying for Europe again. As you can see by the top right though as well, Benjamin Sesko was actually the top scorer in the Premier League this season with 26 goals, which I think we signed him for 20 million from Man United 2 seasons ago. He's been second and first top scorer in the league. That's been an amazing signing for us. Amad Diallo also doing very well, picking up 13 assists. Van der Berode, who's someone I've not used on the game before, who's playing number 10 for us, also getting a 7.24 in the average rating. And across the cup competitions, FA Cup 4th round by Middlesbrough, which is shocking. But in the Carabao Cup, we actually did quite well. Quarter-final by Manchester City, which again, if you look at the other teams in there, we've probably pulled the hardest team in the quarter-final. It's just kind of unlucky at this point when we're getting these teams and we can't just have a nice run into the final. But it is what it is. You've got to beat the best to be the best. Apart from that, though, of course, this season would have been the most challenging for the squad so far. Benjamin Sesko got 44 goals over 54 appearances, which is just incredible. I mean, I hope he does this in the Premier League for Man United. Amad Diallo having a great season, getting 32 contributions. Brerode getting 27. So if you look at that front three, boys, you're looking at 70-odd goals, 30-odd assists between them. 100 goal contributions from a front three is amazing. Patino having a great season as well, getting 20 goal contributions. Baleba, the new signing this season, playing 55 games. Looks to have developed in some areas quite well. There's some 15s and 16s coming on there. Sotelo, who we brought in for that defensive winger that we highlighted in the transfers, he got 16 assists from that right wing in 45 games. So it's looked like that transfer and that change of position for him over on that right wing has actually worked out quite well. He's been a great player on that right-hand side. And again, if we look at the average ratings as well, you've got 5 players there in the green and you've got 6, 7, 8 players with 6.9 and above. The team's performed well, considering all the competitions that we had to play in. In terms of the tactic as well, I think this is working quite well, lads. I mean, we had Europe, we finished 9th, we've got into the Europa League knockout phases, we're getting to knockout competitions and only narrowly losing, like in the Carabao to City. The Rob Room's working quite well and the players are working quite well in the system. I think now in this last season, we just need to bring in some quality players, some real quality into this team that could hopefully again push us into Europe or hopefully, lead us to a cup win. But welcome back for Seasons 5 transfers. The first signing that we brought in is Jorgen Strand Larsen. He's going to be back up to Sesko this season. I see him as a player on FM who is quite similar to Sesko in height, pace, attributes. They're pretty much a carbon copy of each other. He's going to play back up to Sesko, hopefully get some goals off the bench. We've also managed to bring in Ridvan Yilmaz over from Rangers. This guy's going to also be back up to Kirkes on that left-hand side, or maybe even challenge for first team, because this guy is actually a very good left mid on the game. Pacey, very good mentals and decent technicals, very all-rounded guy. If we bring him in for 19 million, let's see if he can challenge Kirkes for that number 1 spot. We also managed to find a regen using the Robbo regen filter. Again, if you don't know the Robbo regen filter, what rock have you been living under, go and have a look at it on the Patreon. It finds gems like this. We signed this lad for 4 million at Peterson. I mean, look at the state of him. I mean, what's great about him is a creative attacking midfielder, but he can also tackle, work hard, and is aggressive. The only downside being that he is 5'2", but I think it makes him quite unique. He's a left footer as well. Let's see how he can do this season and see if he can develop. Now we're getting into the quality signings, boys. Kasady comes into Sunderland for £40 million. I think this might be the most expensive signing so far, but this guy on the game is an amazing attacking midfielder. He's 6'1". He's a very powerful player. This guy's going to crash the box. Look, if you look at his traits, gets forward whenever possible, gets into opposition area, plays 1-2s. He's an amazing goal-scoring attacking midfielder, so hopefully this season he's going to bring something different to our attack. You know, we've got Ahmad and Brederode in the 2 number 10s, but hopefully he's going to play and just be a bit of a physical menace. £40 million, he's very consistent as well in his pros. Let's hope he does good for us. And finally, boys, a bit of like a pinch me signing, I think, which sums up how well we've done over these 5 seasons, is João Neves. Now, João Neves was released by PSG for some reason. On these rebuilds, I always check the free transfers for the freebies. I love a freebie. João Neves came up on a freebie, and I thought, you know what? If João Neves is interested in signing for Sunderland, that means in 5 years that we've done something well. One of the most highly reputable CDMs in world football comes in on a free to Sunderland. You know, we've got him and Baleba now. We've got Patino, Chris Rigg. We've got a great set of defensive midfielders. We all know what João Neves is about. An aggressive CDM. Good on the ball as well. Very technical. Hopefully he can do well for us this season. Now again, for the tactic, boys, we are keeping it on the Ruben robber him. It's done so well for me in this rebuild. You know, the first 2 signings we used that survival tactic, trying to be hard to beat. Now we're going at teams to beat teams, and I'm going to stay in the robber him. These are the players that I'm going to lock in for this season, but if I was to pick the best to live 11 by the judgment of the assistant manager, this is what we've ended up with after 5 years. We've got Baleba and Patino in them CDM roles, Kasady, Brederode and Sesko up front, Sotelo, Kirkes, Ballard, Mukiele and Milenkovic. But if you look at our bench now, we've got Chris Rigg, Adinga, Diarra, Peterson the regen, Neves, Hume, who's a great young centre-back, Strand Larsen, Diallo, Yilmaz and Saipe. We have got a squad here that has now become a Premier League quality squad, and I'm all for it. Because it's a big Robbo era. Oh, it's a big Robbo era. FA Cup has come to Sunderland. Again, in the league, an amazing finish, finishing 6th in the Premier League alongside an FA Cup. Only 8 points out of that Champions League spaces. Sorry, I lied. 5 points away from them Champions League places. Let's go and see our FA Cup journey though. In the 3rd round, we played Wolves and decimated them 4-3. In the 4th round, we faced Preston and decimated them 6-2. In the 5th round, Watford 7-4. We score goals, baby. On to the quarter-final now. The crunch time. Swansea away. 4-1. 4 goals, 5 goals, 6 goals. We'll score them all. In the semi-final, Tottenham 6-0. 6-0 from the Sunderland. And as you can see, it was Newcastle in the final, our direct rivals, and a 2-1 win separated Sunderland and Newcastle. And if we look at the game, poetically, Daniel Ballard opened the scoring, a man that's been here from season 1. Benjamin Sesko scored the winner as well. Well, the goal that ended up being the winner, you know what I mean, in the 68th minute. This is a Newcastle team with Cole Palmer, Kareem Kanate, Boniface, Gordon, Sandro Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes. These are no mugs, but we made them look like mugs. Welcome to the FA Cup, Sunderland. And in the Premier League as well, it's a great season. Finishing 6th again, like I said, only 5 points out from actually getting Champions League football with Sunderland. Let that be your challenge if you carry this save on. Can you get Sunderland into that Champions League? Get them up the table. If you look at the stats-wise, on the right again, Brederode, who's been amazing in this rebuild for us, 18 goals, Sesko with 16. Interesting to see that Max Dowman got 5 player of the matches for Arsenal. Wow. Look at Max Dowman, obviously one of the biggest talents in real life. This is actually sick. Jesus Christ. He got 20 goals and 8 assists for Arsenal this season. This updated database is insane. This is what I'm saying, boys. If you want to get on this save file, you will also have players like Max Dowman running around. If we look at the stats for the season as well, Sunderland actually scored the most goals in the Premier League this season. We were up there for the most points per game. We had the most shots for. So what that tells me about this robber him tactic and this Sunderland side that we've created, we are just a team that is all about attack, attack, attack. We will score more than you. If you look through the cup run, we had 6-0s, 7-4s, 4-0s. We just score goals. And if we look at the final squad stats for the final season with Sunderland, Benjamin Sesko with 28 goals, Brennerode with 22, Casady, who we brought in for 40 million, getting 30 goal contributions, which is amazing. Strand Larsen getting 9 off the bench, doing his job. Patino having a good season. But what I think shows with how well we've built a team here, if you look at the average ratings, we'll highlight from here to here. We have got 16 players with a 6.9 average rating or above. That shows the consistency of the team, the consistency of the tactic. The players are gelling. It's been a great season. Again, before we leave, if we pick our best 11 before getting off, you can see the links in the 2 DMs, the cams, the striker, the centre-backs. This is a great team, but what's great is with Season 5, we leave it in a great place to be improved as well. Maybe we need to improve Sotelo, maybe get some better centre-backs in, and then I think this team could qualify for the Champions League. If you are to take over this save file, boys, you've got £64 million to play with. The squad now has got a 3.5-star reputation, and of course it is growing. The training facilities are amazing, the youth facilities are amazing. The stadium light is now at a capacity of 48,000, and of course you've got Europa League next season from winning the FA Cup.